This is a dual purpose video. It is a video response for Acrosby74, and it is also a video to give you a little bit of an education on where your canned goods come from when you purchase them from other countries, and what those canned goods actually go through in order to get to this country, and why they don't last that long when it comes to storing them. Now let me start by saying I am not picking on anybody for purchasing canned goods made in another country. Okay, now A. Crosby had made a video asking for suggestions or any ideas on storing these mandarin oranges in this video that you're about to see.
The only thing that I have had any trouble with is these mandarin oranges. So if anybody has any advice for me other than store them in an air-conditioned place, which I don't have a lot of space in the house because I have 4 kids. There's 6 of us living in a 3-bedroom house. So
now the mandarin oranges that Acrosby74 had purchased from Walmart, they're actually distributed by Purcell International. Here you can see their website listed in yellow. They purchased these from China, and they basically distribute them to Walmart stores. Now here is a little bit of background on these mandarin oranges. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically they're imported to California and they come from Spain and China. Yada yada yada. Boring, boring, boring. You can read this while I'm talking if you want, your choice. Now if you look in the white, it says buyers are careful to specify the variety of percentage of broken segments, yada yada yada. Nobody cares about that. This is coming directly from their website. I urge you to check this out. Look at the yellow part. This is where it gets a little freaky. Old stock is a major concern, as this high acid product has a short shelf life of 2 years, maximum of 3. Okay, it talks about rust being a problem from China, along with detinning. Now this is under ideal conditions. Now here is where it's actually going to get interesting. Hopefully you're already riveted and you want to actually learn more about this. Now any of the previous information, if you want to confirm it, go to purcellinternational.com. The link is listed at the top. This is just to confirm the expiration dates on her cases. As you can see here, this was all taken from her video. If you get on the internet and you look for Island Sun pictures, you're not going to find them anywhere. And basically, if you see where the blue arrow is, it says the issuing country for this UPC code is in the United States, even though it is imported to this country from China. Okay, here's where your little bit of an education is going to come in. Have you ever noticed how it can get inside of a car on a hot summer day? Far harder than it is outside. That's because the car is actually acting like a greenhouse. It traps in the sun's heat. The temperatures can actually reach 160 degrees more inside of a vehicle. Well, a shipping container is pretty much the same, believe it or not. Now the Wine Supply Chain Council did an awesome study on this, on shipping containers. Yes, it's a wine. It also pertains to other goods in shipping containers. The link can be found right here, as you can see in the yellow, right under the Wine Supply Chain Council. I suggest you look at it. It has all the materials in there that I'm going over. This study included 160 shipment containers between 2004 and 2006. Now, what they did was they put a bunch of sensors inside these storage containers and found that the highest temperature in July was actually 134 degrees inside of a shipping container, and the lowest, of course, was -6 degrees inside of a shipping container. And basically, they said the main cause of temperature variations inside the shipping containers seem to be from direct solar radiation, because it can heat the inside of the container to temperatures up to 86 degrees above the outside temperature. So as you can imagine, that can get pretty hot, and this will affect any kind of product that is shipped in a shipping container. Now we're going to go over what it actually takes to get this product to you in the United States. It is made in a facility like this in China or another country, and it's processed and canned and it's ready to go, and then it goes into a warehouse that looks actually something like this. Now when they sit in this warehouse, we don't know what the temperatures are in these warehouses. We don't know what the standards are in other countries compared to our own countries. And they will sit in this warehouse even under optimal conditions, and they're stored properly, let's say under 70 degrees. They will sit in this warehouse until there is a demand for them. So God only knows how long they're going to sit in this warehouse. Now obviously when an order comes into the manufacturer that cans these, they will load the trucks up like you see here. They will load a container truck up. Or they will take a container truck and they will put it in a staging area where it will sit on the property premises for God only knows how long in the hot sun. So even if the warehouse was the ideal conditions for this product, this is not helping the product. So basically it's sitting out in the sun waiting to be taken to the port in which it needs to be shipped out to. Now once the product is actually taken from the staging area, it is carefully transported. Yes, I'm joking, I'm being a little bit humorous, and then it is actually unloaded at the port, as you can see here. Yes, I'm joking again. This is being serious now. It is actually unloaded and it's put in a staging area and actually stacked up, as you can see in this picture here. Now once it's stacked in the port, it will sit in the port for a while. God only knows how long. Temperature variations are actually wreaking havoc on these. They're not in a controlled environment. It gets real hot. Then they are actually loaded onto the ships carefully. As you can see here, they stack them pretty much high. And they do stack them real careful, so you don't have to worry about them falling over. Well, there's a little bit more humor involved in this, as you can see. And then they are transported, hopefully, carefully, as you can see from this picture here. Now once a ship is actually safety loaded and it is on the sea, it takes anywhere between 8 to 50 days depending on how many stops this ship actually has to make or how many ports it has to go to before it gets to the California port. Now keep in mind, while these containers are actually on the ship, they're exposed to heat only. Basically the temperatures will go up and down, but they are completely sealed and it gets extremely hot inside. Now 8 to 50 days with heat fluctuations going up and down can actually wreak havoc on these canned goods and shorten their shelf life. Now if a ship has to make other stops like you're seeing here, basically your cargo's offloaded and the ship continues on to another port to drop your items off. However, if this is the port where the stuff actually gets dropped off, it'll actually be unloaded here. Now once your mandarin oranges reach your California port, as you can see here in this picture, they will be unloaded. The containers will be unloaded from the ship by an operator like this, and once they are unloaded they will be placed on transport trucks which will then take them to an area where they can be actually scanned for radiation, biological weapons, anything like that. Now once that's happened and everything's cleared, then they go into a staging area and they get double stacked like you see in this picture. Now keep in mind, during the entire process of it being unloaded, inspected, which usually takes a long time for U.S. Customs to actually inspect these, and then for them to be stacked, and then they actually sit inside the yard, double, triple stacked, or sometimes they'll stack them even 4 high. They will sit here exposed to the elements the entire time in California, and they'll actually be awaiting pickup. So this entire time they're being exposed to all this heat inside the container, which is completely airtight. Now once they are ready for transport, they are loaded on trailers, so semi-tractor trailers can pick them up, as you can see with the blue arrow, or they are loaded onto rail cars highlighted by the red arrow. Now here is a picture of a container being loaded onto a rail car. In this case they are being double stacked. Now if the containers are loaded onto trailer bodies, they are then transported over to Purcell International or another distribution center. Now if they're loaded onto rail cars, the rail cars may go to another location where they'll be picked up at the distribution center. Now keep in mind, the entire time during transport, these are being exposed to fluctuations in temperature going up and down, heat or cold. So they're going through hell. Now once the container reaches its destination, it is dropped off and it sits there until it's picked up. And it will be picked up by a yard truck, as you can see here, and it'll be backed up to the loading dock to be unloaded. Now once these container trucks are unloaded, they are actually sorted and brought to the distribution center sorting machine. As you can see here, there's Walmart boxes, and they go to the appropriate area. And then they go into a warehouse storage facility, of course. Now they will sit hopefully in a controlled environment. Now, I have dealt with products from Walmart before, and I know for a fact firsthand that these are not in always a controlled environment, depending on what the product is. Believe me, I know this firsthand. Hopefully, it's a controlled environment where these canned goods aren't exposed to temperatures and fluctuation going up and down all the time. But I know for a fact that this is the case. Depending on the product, it might be different. Now, if the distributor, such as Purcell International with these mandarin oranges, receives an order from Walmart, they will go ahead and they will preload trailers, empty trailers from Walmart that happen to be on their property, and they will preload these and they will sit there until Walmart comes with a truck to actually pick them up. Or other cases, Walmart will just show up with an empty trailer and, of course, a truck attached to it, and they will be loaded by Purcell International. Now, you probably think this is the end of the line. Well, unfortunately, it isn't. This truck is loaded at the Purcell facility, the distribution center. This truck is loaded and it's ready to go, as you can see from this picture here. So now the truck's loaded and it's ready to go. You figure this is the end of the line, and it goes right to the store. Wrong answer. From here, the truck has to go to a Walmart distribution center where it will sit in their warehouse. Hopefully, it's an environmentally controlled environment where the temperatures don't go up and down. I cannot vouch for a Walmart distribution center as far as it being temperature controlled. However, I can for other facilities as I have worked in them. Now, the products are unloaded at the Walmart distribution center, and of course they go through a sorting process, as you can see here. If they are on pallets, they will probably go to a loading dock and get separated, a different method than what you can see here. And then they will sit, guess what, in a warehouse until there is an order for them. And they can sit in this warehouse for a long time. And again, don't know if this warehouse is controlled as far as temperature. I'm assuming because it's Walmart it is, but I could be wrong. Now, once the distribution center receives the order from the local store, a truck will load up from the distribution center that's at Walmart, of course, and it will then take the product and it will bring it to the local Walmart store. Now, once it's at the local Walmart store, it can then be unloaded, so people, like everyday people like you and me, can actually go shopping in Walmart and find these great deals on these low-priced canned goods. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind, these mandarin oranges, as well as other canned goods, have a 2 to 3 year shelf life under maximum conditions without heat fluctuations going up and down constantly. And as you can see through the journey to the local Walmart, this has gone through an awful lot of temperature fluctuations. Now, as a result of going through all these temperature fluctuations, your product isn't going to last 2 to 3 years maximum. However, you can eliminate this problem. How? By cutting through all of this. I know you want to save some money and actually buying here, and I know you've heard this before and you're probably going to go, here it comes. If you buy something that's manufactured and made in the US, it's going to cost a little bit more money. However, it's going to last longer when it comes to your shelf life. And you actually know where it's manufactured here in the US, and it's under a controlled environment, and it doesn't go through extreme heat fluctuations and sit on a cargo ship for God only knows how long before it actually gets to you. Now again, I'm not bashing anybody specifically, especially Acrosby74. As she had stated in her video, she was welcome to suggestions, and I figured I'd make this video for her as well as other people that wish to store canned goods. If you store canned goods that come from overseas, basically you're going to shorten your shelf life. Basically, that's about it. I welcome any comments or suggestions, and I thank you for watching this video.